Today we're talking about what happens once the INFJ finally stops being addicted to sad emotions. You might not know this, but INFJs are addicted, and I mean seriously addicted to sad emotions. If you think about the moments that meant the most to you, that make you feel something very deeply. Was it something that was completely joyful? Was it something that was, all happy and rainbows and light? Or was it something that had some melancholy to it? Right? It was probably the second one. And the reason for this is that we INFJs are very much attuned to this in other people, because that's when other people need us. So today we're going to talk about why this entire addiction is happening in the first place, how this addiction in itself is keeping us back from going after our dreams, and how we can change that narrative not only in our mind, but actually change the dynamic in our life because of that. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the poster on the formula to an INFJ Epic Life. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Everything you need to know, you can find in the links in the description. So let's back off here for a minute. An INFJ is very much attuned to how other people are feeling and what their emotional response is to us. We have conditioned ourselves to be this way since we are little, because this is a skill we're really good at. We're really good at understanding others. And if you ask yourself, when are you most drawn to a person? And I'm not even talking about in a romantic sense. Just think of like friendship-wise. Isn't it in moments when friends are needing you, when you can be their savior, when you can be the one who, is down there in the trenches with them? The moment the other person feels light, happy, they don't have that weight that they carry, it sort of feels like a relief. It's something that doesn't have to be a burden on us anymore. And we automatically are focusing on them less. I can give you a very easy example on this. Like, just imagine you have two relatives, like two aunts, for example, and both of them love you very much. But the one is calling you and is saying, oh, you don't call me enough, or I'm so lonely, I'm so sad. The other one doesn't mention anything. Who are you calling more? I can guarantee you that in most cases, if we're not actively thinking about it and working on it, we will most likely keep reaching out to the person who needs us most. Because what we want is for both of our aunts to be happy. And this one aunt seems to be happy with us needing to be in contact with her all the time. The other aunt, on the other hand, needs constant validation. So why am I giving you this example? I'm giving you this example because it's very clear cut. Right? This is just obviously the truth. This is how so many INFJs feel if they're not taking control of this. I know I used to feel like this all the time, and I still have the tendency to feel like this. And this is not something that has something to do with how you act towards like your both aunts or relatives and that you should pay attention to both of them. It's so much deeper than this. Because that is the reason why we feel so much more if we listen to a sad song than a happy song. That is why we so often get into situations that make us feel something, and we're addicted to that. And those situations seem to be sad. If you are continuously choosing sad situations, as in, a relationship that is not working out, a friendship with somebody who's continuously struggling, being there for people continuously, mostly when they're in a bad space, that in itself is keeping you at a place in your life where you keep your head above water, because all of those things are draining you. And what is the alternative here? You could say, okay, so I should just be happy. I should just, focus on people who are, in a good mood and just neglect my friends and who are in need. Like, what's the whole thing here? Isn't that like, first off, out of integrity? Doesn't that make me a bad person? And third of all, like, that's boring. Like, I want to feel something. But what we have to understand is that these things are happening on autopilot. If you would rationally decide that person needs my help and it's actually of their best interest for me to help them. And, it's okay, I can take this on. This is not going to drain me to a point where I don't have any more energy. That's perfectly fine. But we're doing that even in situations where we're enabling others, where we're not actively thinking about, is this like something that is a positive dynamic? We feel like that's the person I'm connected with, and that's the person that makes me feel alive. And if I would choose the other way, which is lighthearted, which is easy, which is way more superficial, right? I mean, that thing that we're talking about is deep. The other direction is light, it's extroverted. It's just, living in the moment and being all upbeat and fun. That doesn't make us feel alive. It just doesn't. But you have to remember, we have conditioned ourselves to think this way. Why? Because we had to learn to be aware of how other people are feeling when they're down, because that's the moment when they need us. And only when they need us can we create a dynamic where we feel, safe, because that person needs us. And when they need us, then I'm not going to get abandoned. See where this is all coming from? It really comes from a place of, I need to feel needed in order to feel lovable. And the way to do that is to create emotion and to feel alive concerning a person who really needs me. If you surround yourself with people who are happy-go-lucky, guess what? Those people don't need you that much. If they hang out with you, it's just because they want to hang out, not because they need you. And that's actually where we want to get to. But you can only be in that place if you are good with yourself, if you're happy with yourself. That does not mean that you cannot help people, but you'll become so aware of people draining your energy. Remember, you're not an emotional garbage bag just because you have the capacity to understand others and to be there for them. Just because you can do that, that does not mean that the price that you're willing to pay for that is for you to be sad all the time. Because what you're doing is you're going down into the valley with them. And that is most of the time enabling them, right? You stay in a position where you both need each other. What you want to do, though, is to become a rock that other people can climb up on. You want to be in such a phase of your life where you are continuously choosing the light route. You want to choose the path that makes you feel weightless, that makes you feel in tune with nature, that makes you feel happy. And when you do that, you're going to start getting addicted to this positive feeling because it does have its benefits. And on top of it, guess what? It's actually one of the things that continues to give you more and more energy. That's the way towards abundance. That's the way towards being in alignment with nature, right? Because it's all about choosing light. It's all about choosing life. It's all about, the light, fun way to be. That does not mean you can't be of service to others. That does not mean that you cannot help others. But it's not a necessity. It's not part of your identity anymore. And so if we understand the logic behind this, if we understand why we're continuously doing this, it's that much easier for us to say, okay, I'm willing to go the boring route. I'm willing to say, I'm not going to feel all of those emotions I always felt anymore because now I want to build something new. Like, that's enough. For me, it really was from a place of I just felt so much sadness. I felt so many emotions. It was way too much for me to handle that I said, I have to quit this. And it meant for me at that moment, I'm never going to feel alive again. I'm just going to live a boring, mundane life that doesn't make me feel anything. That's at least what I thought. Now I know better. Now I know that if you choose a life that never allows you to go so deep into the trenches that you're suffering so deeply because you cut yourself off, because you say, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole anymore. You automatically have so much more energy left that you can then use to create something new, that you can use to create something extraordinary, that you have so much energy that you can create that INFJ epic life on your terms. And that's when you get your excitement. That's when you get your happiness. That's when you feel alive. And it's a completely different emotion than the one you were used to, where it was all about if I want to feel something, if I want to connect with somebody, it's always going to be in a place that's very sad, that's very melancholic, that's very deep. It doesn't have to be like this. Just because you're an INFJ, that does not mean that you have to be in that place all the time. You can choose certain situations in order to feel that emotion from time to time. But trust me, once you start going in the other direction, it will feel so much better that you barely choose those old emotions. And that's how you break an addiction like this. You actively create a new addiction that is positive, that is healthy, and that makes you feel better and more alive than the one before. But in order to get there, we have to be willing to get to a place where you say, I rather not feel anything, or be in a place where things are sort of mellow and sort of boring, than to continuously be somewhere where I'm sad all the time. Remember, you have a choice how you feel. And of course, a disclaimer at this place, I'm not talking about people with depression who do everything in their capacity and cannot get out of that state. But most of us are not in that place. Most of us really can get to a better place if we choose to make those things happen. And before you give up on yourself and you say, well, that's just how I am, I'm just meant to be sad, continuously choose to feel happy. Choose the light road. Choose the road that maybe feels a little bit more boring for a while. But trust me, because you create that stability, you will have the energy to create the excitement, not from, being in the trenches and keeping your head above water, being a survivor, being a martyr, but you're going to feel those exciting emotions in your life again, and you're going to feel them through thriving, not just surviving. That's where we want to get to. Remember, if you want a little bit more insights into how to make that happen, then check out the formula to an INFJ Epic Life. It's a free poster. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video, What Happens Once the INFJ Finally Accepts Their Mind-Blowing Nature.